Are you ready to upgrade your oneNDA standard template into a one-click workflow? Today, I'm going to walk you through how to get started with a very simple but very powerful tool for automating your NDA process using the oneNDA standard template. Hello, my name is Preston Clark. I'm the CEO and co-founder of SimpleDocs. At SimpleDocs, we turn your manual contract processes into scalable automations, saving time for your legal teams and accelerating deals for your sales teams. To help show off what's possible with SimpleDocs, we partnered with oneNDA and launched a brand new workflow tool called oneCLICK, and it's free to use and incredibly easy to set up. If you're already familiar with the oneNDA standard, I think you will find oneCLICK to be an incredibly effective tool to drive adoption, both within your organization and with counterparties. I'm going to take a few minutes now to show you how to get started with oneCLICK. First things first, if you don't yet have a SimpleDocs account, you're going to want to head on over to the onenda.org website. In the nav bar, you will see oneCLICK. You click here, you create your profile information and hit create account. And from there, you'll be immediately routed to a page that looks like this one. Now, I'm going to show you the basics of how to set up your oneCLICK experience. But the end result, by the end of what I'm about to show you, you will have a link that can be shared with counterparties or with your business teams to initiate the NDA process using your oneNDA template. So let's get started. First things first, you're going to want to head over to the settings section on the left. You'll go to your company tab, make sure that your legal name is written in correctly, display name, and you're going to want to go ahead and upload a logo that represents your business. Once this is done, you can head over to the next tab, the next button up, which is integrations. Here, you're going to integrate with either DocuSign or Dropbox Sign. We'll be adding Adobe Sign in the next couple of weeks. If you have Adobe Sign, be patient. If you do not have an e-sign tool, or if you're not yet ready to integrate with your e-sign tool, we have a master Dropbox Sign account, and you can use that for testing purposes. Okay, let's get started now with configuring your oneNDA template inside of SimpleDocs. We're going to head on over to Workflows, and here you will see a one-click workflow that has been preloaded into your account. I'm going to click on these three dots here and expand and head on into terms. This is where we're going to put the variables of oneNDA into your one-click workflow. So first things first is you're going to set your default purpose, confidentiality period, country, governing law, dispute resolution, and finally jurisdiction. And again, if you're familiar with oneNDA, as I suspect many of you are, these should be variables you're already familiar with. Once that is set, we're going to jump over to roles and permissions. This is where you're going to indicate the signer within your organization. For testing purposes, you might want to put yourself, but ultimately, when you start adopting the platform, you're going to want to put the actual signer, whether that's a GM, your general counsel, CEO, etc. You will put this here. And you will also put an approver. This is someone on the legal team. It may be you. And I'm going to show you why approver is important in just a moment. But once these two titles have been filled, now we're going to jump over to settings. And under settings, there's really only one critical piece to consider, and that is the answer to this question. May the counterparty sign immediately after submitting the request? What does this mean if it's not obvious? It's whether or not a counterparty-initiated NDA needs to have legal approval before it goes and gets routed for signature. So in this case, what we're going to put is may the counterparty sign immediately. We're going to say yes. This means that legal does not have to be involved in the process and the NDAs can immediately go out. If you decide to put no here, what it means is back here at roles and permissions, it means that every single NDA as it's going out will need to be approved by you or a designee on your legal team. You can also add several people here, and whoever gets to it first can release the document for counterparty signature initially, and then final signature back to whomever you've designated within your organization. Okay, that was a lot, so let's back up for a second. We're under workflows. The one-click workflow is the one we're focused on today. We inputted our terms. These are our standard oneNDA variables. We put in our approver and our signer, and we default saying no the counterparty, may the counterparty sign immediately? Oh, sorry, we're going to say yes, because in our case, or at least in my case, I don't want to have to review each NDA request as it's going out. I'm going to save that change. I also have reminders set up, and I have an expiration date, so my NDAs expire, let's say, after 10 days, meaning if they haven't been signed in that period of time, they're automatically expired. And I'm going to say every 5 days, if an NDA hasn't been signed yet, a reminder goes out to all parties. Okay, this has now been set up. Let me show you a couple more things. Once an NDA is signed, it will end up back in the repository. And this is where you can download and access the signed agreement. It'll include your e-sign stamp as well. In this case, it was Dropbox signed. You can also see any other metadata that may have found its way into the document relating to counterparty, signer, if any terms were negotiated, which I will also show you in just a moment. All of this is inside of the repository, and of course you can add tags and filters and other search criteria as you go to make sure, as your database of NDAs increases, that it's easier and easier for you to find what you're looking for. Okay, a couple more things. You can also go into the Request tab and see any in-process NDAs that may be pending, including ones that require your review. And last but not least, if, and this comes included with the free version, an NDA ends up being signed outside the platform, you can upload those manually, one by one, into the SimpleDocs repository and use the same search filter to find them here. That is it. The end result is that you will have a completed workflow with oneCLICK that can be shared externally. And when it's shared externally, it's going to look like what's on my screen now. You'll have your logo on top. You can customize any messages or communications to the counterparty so they know what this document is. It's appropriate for both companies and individuals. They will input their basic information, name, company, email address, address. And if it's a submitter who's inputting this rather than the signer, there's places both for submitter information and for signer information. The last thing I'm going to show you is what it looks like once the NDA has gone out for review and final signature to the counterparty. It looks like a screen like this. It'll have the oneNDA variables. It will have the standard NDA terms. And the counterparty now has two options. They can sign the NDA as is, and this is where the e-sign tool will take hold, or they can click on other options. Here, they can propose changes, they can assign the document to someone else, or they can decline agreement. In the case of proposed changes, what does that mean? Well, if you're familiar with the oneNDA template, you know that we cannot deviate from the variables, we cannot deviate from the terms, but we can negotiate on the variables. And so to do that, you go to propose changes and you make any changes to confidentiality period, purpose, country, governing law, etc. And once these are changed and submitted, and I will change this to 6, the counterparty is prompted to send changes. These then go back to you, back to your approver for final approval. Now, this can be turned off. And so if your goal is to completely streamline the process and make no allowance or acceptance for any proposed changes to the oneNDA variable, we can absolutely set that for you. But the default is that the counterparty can propose changes. Okay, that is it. Again, everything that I show you today comes included with the free plan. If you have more questions as you're going through this and getting started and testing it, you can always email us at support@simpledocs.com or contact me directly. Again, my name is Preston Clark at preston@simpledocs.com. Have a great rest of your day and good luck with oneCLICK. Thank you.